I'm Dorothy Godin, broker through Max Crown Realty, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts. The market continues to heat up. Again, it's not going to heat up like it did the first 6 months of last year, but nonetheless, it's pretty hot. The average sale price so far this month is 475,000. Average days on the market is 19 days, and the sale to list ratio it's almost 3%. So people are getting on average 3% above list price, and so far 67% of all the residential sales are selling at or above list price. So we're seeing that number come up and up. The market that's really moving is the 500 and under market. But even if you look at the 600 and under market, that's 76% of the market in April. And above the 600, that market's a little bit smaller. It saw 26% of the market. And above the 600, you're seeing 2.7 months of inventory. Well, under the 600 market, you're seeing 1 month of inventory. So inventory is tight all the way around. Just wherever, if you're above the 600, your market is just not as fast and your market is much, much smaller. So I wanted to touch base a little bit again. I know that I've talked about this before, but if you have a house and you want to downsize or upsize and you already own a house, it's probably the most difficult situation because with the market being so tight and being a seller's market, sellers do not want to see offers conditional on you having to sell a house. It just, maybe in the upper range where the market is not as fast, you might be able to get away with that. But for the most part, sellers do not want to see offers conditional on you as a buyer having to sell your house. So it leaves you in quite a dilemma because you don't want to be homeless. Most people can't carry two houses. And even if you can carry two houses, do you really want to do that? A lot of people will say, well, I'm going to put an offer on my new house and I'll put a long closing. And within that closing time, I have a conditional of financing. And hopefully within that time period, I'll be able to sell my house. And if you're in Sudbury, we can pretty much gauge and look at your market and say, okay, the market is telling us this is what we can get for your house. So if you have that long closing, and you have a strong market like we do in Sudbury, you probably would be okay. But there is a risk factor there. What if you don't sell it in the time period that you need to sell it? And also, what if you don't get the money that you need? So we've heard this a lot from people from down south who came up here, put in offers, and then when they went to sell their house, they didn't get the money they thought they would get. And so financially, they couldn't afford to make the move. So we don't want to be in that situation. It's I think much safer to put your house on the market, know what you're going to get, and then go buy a house. And a lot of buyers don't like that. A lot of buyers don't want to see, they put an offer, and as a seller, you're putting in conditional on you having to find suitable accommodations. Some buyers will put an escape clause because they don't want to wait. They say, okay, that's fine. You want to look for a house, but if I as a buyer find a house that I like, I'm going to give you 48 hours to remove your condition on finding suitable. So it's very complicated. You have to look at, financially, where do you stand? Can you bridge finance? Are you able to buy a new house, bridge finance it, and then you sell your house later? It's just very complicated. So you want to make sure that you're working with a professional who can give you all the options. Some people have decided that, I'm going to cash out and move in with family or rent while I find my perfect house. Then they know exactly how much money they're dealing with, and then they can take their time looking. But that comes with a cost in that you're, living with family and, possibly renting. So that's definitely an option. The first thing you want to do is go talk to your financial person, your mortgage specialist, to see how financially sound you are. And then if you're moving out of town, I have a lot of people that I know all across Canada, and I can coordinate you and help you find a realtor that fits your personality, of course. And you want to coordinate with that person, and you want to know what that market is. Ideally, you're selling in a seller's market, but you're buying in a buyer's market. Across Canada, there probably are not that many buyer markets, but the point is that you have to know what market you're buying into. So it's important to coordinate. And in terms of coordination, a lot of people like to close on the same day. So if you're selling your house and you're buying a new house, the closing date is the same. And that's can be very stressful, because what if your bank doesn't get the money on time to the lawyer and you can't close on your new house? I would say if you're going to close on the same day, definitely don't close on a Friday. Just because, if something happens on Friday and paperwork is late from the bank and money doesn't get in, it's almost impossible to get anything done till Monday. So if you're going to close on the same day, definitely don't close on Friday. A lot of people will bridge finance, so they'll move into their new house maybe a week before and have the bank bridge finance. Yes, it comes with a cost, but at least you have a week to move out and you can get settled in much quicker. Yeah, there's no question that if you own a home and you want to buy another home, it's complicated, and every situation is different, and it comes down to what your comfort level is in terms of risk. And it would be my job to kind of just show you the market and talk about what's the best solution for you. For most people, they have to sell their house in order to buy. And in my experience, although I say buyers don't like this, you can put suitable accommodations. So I put my house on the market, I get an offer, I have suitable accommodation, maybe 30 days to find a house. And buyers, they either are okay with that or they're not. Most people who are okay with that are renting or living with their parents, and they're okay with waiting. And then, after 30 days, if you don't find anything, the buyer can decide, do I want to continue with this contract or do I want to walk away? It's just a matter of finding the right buyer who will work with you. And then having everyone be a little bit flexible with closing dates, because you may have on your buy a closing date of July 1st. And then when you sell your house, people may want an August closing or they might want a June closing. So when you do these offers, you might want to put a clause in that talks about being flexible for closing date. Bottom line is, the first step you're going to take is go see your financial advisor and then talk to your realtor about what is the market like. I'm moving into this area, and as we know, real estate is hyper local, so you need to know exactly what's happening in that area and in that price range, and then you can decide what is the best decision for me and my family. I hope you find this helpful. As always, you can reach me at Dorothy Godin at remax.net or 705-561-2360. Have a great week.